What up? How's it going, everybody? I'm working on this piece right here on this side on the right. It's gonna be the Warhammer Titan. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, Warhammer Titan is from the semi-recent, well, I think it is the most recent season of Attack on Titan, which I'm a gigantic fan of. And really cool character. Really didn't not to spoil anything, but it didn't really last a whole long time, you know. But it was really amazing, super powerful Titan character. But yeah, today I'm going to talk a little bit about maybe some ways to kind of push through adversity as far as like you're having issues drawing. A lot of people reached out to me and said, "Hey, hey, like I'm having issues with so and so, right? Even after learning it, like after you're learning to draw something, what can I do to kind of still improve, even though I already learned the lessons on how to do it? I feel like I practice ish enough. What can I actually do to improve? You know, and I'm gonna give you a couple of ideas for that in the next 20 minutes here. I'm gonna draw about 20 minutes, and I've been doing live for 20 minutes. I feel like that's a good amount of time. Okay, so what I would do is do something I like to call the Plow Method. I have no clue if I made that up or not, or if that's just something you can do. Is plowing through kind of what you have difficulty for. So I can give you an example of this. For me, it is actually drawing clothing. I don't know why. I was really having a hard time drawing clothing. I'd have a lot of this hesitation when I kind of look at clothing, and I'm like, oh man, I have to draw this outfit. And you kind of go through this process where you're double thinking everything you do, and it's kind of like, okay, well, what can I do exactly? What is something I can do to improve at this, right? Because I see some people do clothing and they just do boom, 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 boom. It's like their thing. They have a massive interest in it, so they're just gonna go through it, and they blast through it, and they actually have this amazing. It just looks good, and for me, I just take so long on it, and it doesn't look good. What can I do about that? Probably the best and easiest thing you can do would be to actually, like I said, if you've already learned it, take a page and just start drawing it blindly. Like blindly meaning start drawing it without a lot of effort, which is kind of the opposite rule of what people will usually say. And that actually is kind of the opposite of what I would normally say. So for me, it was clothing. So what I did was I just went on a page here. Let me go back. I did that page and just started doing it just boom, boom, boom. Wasn't putting a lot of thought into it. I was just getting my hand used to drawing clothing. Doom, doom, doom. And I'm still doing this every day. I'm trying to, and you're going to see increases in your improvement by leaps and bounds when you do this. I mean, because I already learned all the clothing stuff. I learned about, what is a good idea to draw as far as clothing goes. The different kinds of folds. I made a whole video course on that, like folds. But I was still like, man, why am I having issues with like t-shirts, just people just standing there? Why am I still having issues with that? So I'm just like, boom, I'm just gonna look at photos or look at drawings of people that I like, and I'm just gonna go through and boom, just start doing them. Like a full page of them. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it could be just portions, like here are the pants. And you're trying to get in the habit of getting your brain used to drawing this, so you don't have to double think every single curve, every single little meaningless curve, especially with clothing, right? Sometimes it's completely meaningless. So that works. Do that. That works really well, honestly. And I think I just I forgot where I learned that. I think it was a teacher that taught me that. So just kind of like consider doing that. Think of it. So to kind of go through really quick and to recap on what I was just saying. Think of and I know somebody's gonna say something like this. They're gonna be like, I'm bad at, but like someone's gonna be this about themselves. They're gonna be like, oh, but I don't know how to draw anything, like they're gonna say that about themselves. Doesn't matter, you know. Still learn the technical way of doing something, and then after you do that, actually practice that item. You know what I mean? actually like go through, if you feel like you understand it, just plow right through it and do like pages and pages and pages of that stuff. I can tell this is wonky right here. I think this side of the hammer needs to be bigger. Like it needs to go off there. 'Cause it's actually gonna completely, it's gonna skid off the page a little bit. I'm using a mechanical pencil right now. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm using a mechanical pencil right now, and I'm just kind of doing this, and I am gonna ink it, I think, afterward. I hate doing shaded stuff in my sketchbook because when I close my sketchbook and open it back up, it has this smeared stuff here, and it gets worse and worse as I open it up. Love that last season of Attack on Titan, so I'm kind of big on trying to draw it right now. And I did do an Aaron versus, I want to do an Aaron versus Godzilla, even though that makes 0 sense. I did do a very quick of Colossal Titan versus Godzilla. I guess that makes more sense, to be honest. I did a really quick one. It was just a standoff thing, but I want to do more of like, I don't know if you saw this, but on my other channel, I did a Godzilla versus a Siren Head. And I thought that was a good drawing, and it started picking up like crazy. A lot of people started looking at it. But I wouldn't do it just for the looks, you know. I'm doing it because I want to do it. And I think in my head, I'd like to see a more elaborate version from myself of how to draw the Attack Titan versus Godzilla, to be honest. Even though that makes no sense, right? Because Godzilla's like 3 times bigger, I think. Like almost every version of him. Well, I think some of the older versions are not quite as big. I think some of the older versions are close to the size of the Colossal Titan. I'd have to like look that up. Like the old school 1950s version Godzilla. But what I'm doing now is I'm kind of just going through, and the whole thing is structure. Like I'm just like structure here. Okay, cool. Like I'm chipping away at like and I know you must have heard this. It's like I'm chipping away at like statue. Like over here, I'm like, you know, just kind of carving into this, carving into that. Everything is just very much like carving in and kind of going through right here and just kind of more or less kind of pulling stuff in, pulling stuff out. That hand was probably the hardest thing right here, this hand. So I want to go in there and you darken things up gradually. Even though I said I am going to ink this afterward. I'll probably do ink it on another live. Because I think that's a good idea. Going over here, it has too many fingers, I think. Sometimes you're focusing so much on shapes, you forget, like, you know, to count the fingers on your figure. Hopefully it doesn't block out too much. All right. And then this shoulder is interesting. I'd like to figure something out. There's something wonky about this shoulder. I think this line right here, it's too deep. It wouldn't connect like that. It'd probably be like a little bit of that sticking out there, but it would not directly connect into that, I think. I mean, I could draw it connecting, but I'd have to basically make an anatomy chart, which is an option. But I don't really want to do that. I'm gonna kind of pull here. Yeah, let me see. Hold on, let me think. So if he's pulling his arm forward like that, I think his scapula, which is the bone inside the arm, would be more this way. Yeah, I think his scapula would be a little bit more angled that way, and you could kind of see it underneath the everything else. So yeah, that's pretty. I'm just kind of like, a lot of stuff is like just thinking it out. His shoulders over here on this side. It's kind of going in, just kind of putting a little layer of stuff. I actually know a lot about, I should know a lot about the shoulder because I dislocated my shoulder like a few weeks ago. I was playing volleyball and it came out just randomly because I was being dumb. So I'm trying to rehab it right now. And I gotta go to the doctor for it, I think in like a few weeks. I was gonna go to the doctor a few weeks ago, but I ended up getting really sick and I didn't want them to give me all the hoopla, you know, at the door. So I was like, all right, let me just wait till I'm not feverish, you know, to go in there. Going over here. All right, let's see. Just kind of, a lot of this is like constant reevaluation. This insertion right here might be a little too deep. Might kind of lighten that up just a bit because it wouldn't make sense for it to be that dark because there's also sun from the top. It's a good idea as well to look at like anatomy charts as well. I might actually do that because something's up in his shoulder that I don't like. So I don't know. I might look at, you can do that. You can look at bodybuilders in the same pose, and it'll give you an idea. Even though he doesn't really have like a per se bodybuilder body, he's not that large of a figure, but he is you know, large enough, right? And he has a low enough body fat that you can see what's going on. I think this Titan was ran by a woman, right? If I remember correctly, was it? I think it was, right? This was the Titan with the I love the way the Titan had a like the host wasn't inside the Titan, right? The host was outside in this shell to protect them. Really, really cool Titan. I wish it had more screen time, to be honest. I mean, maybe in the comic it had more screen time. I'm trying not to read the manga because I don't want to get spoiled for me, because I ended up reading ahead of the manga in season 2, and I was like really disappointed that I knew everything that was going to happen. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to read it, and it's just better when I get more surprised when I whenever it shows up. All right, let's see carefully here. What can we do here? I would say, okay, I got to do the rest of this pole. The pole is like, I'm going to darken this up over here. That's a design thing right there. I'm just going to darken that up. Again, I'm probably going to start going into the inks in the next live, but trying to straighten things out as much as I can right now. The character has these little strings kind of going into the eyes, but it doesn't fully, I'm not fully showing them because I still want to have that kind of crevice there. If anybody wants any, has any suggestions for the next live, let me know. I will totally make it happen. Just kind of let me know if there's any kind of requests or anything like that. All right, and I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to ink it on the next one, all right? So the next one, I'm going to ink it. That was just a quick live. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.